Sahanavavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Okay. Good evening and good morning. Welcome back.
Whose recitation was it, Rajesh?
I'm sorry, Rohitji?
Who was reciting that?
Swami Brahmananda. Swami Brahmananda is from Chinmaya Mission. Actually, I learned, this is the first chanting I was really impressed when I started listening to Gita. This is one of the first chanting I listened. Swami Brahmananda ji is from Chinmaya Mission, Bangalore. His chanting is known for his chanting, like all the scriptures. So,
yeah. Any chance you can put that audio file in the group chat? Yeah, that'll be good. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get started. We'll continue our discussion on chapter 6. We covered up to verse 28. So we'll take the next 4 verses. These 4 verses are very interesting, important, and probably the highest teachings of the Vedanta. So please listen. It should be very straightforward now, but please try to understand the depth and the breadth of these verses. These are very important verses. So in our last week, we started by seeing the most brilliant definition or the most ancient definition of meditation. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamar astiram, right? Tato tato niyamyet. So whenever the mind moves away from the object of meditation, bring it back. That is what is meditation. Remember, Krishna's definition of meditation is not fixing the mind into the object of meditation consistently. His definition of meditation, it is the act of ability to bring the mind back consistently. Right? That is. So dharana, you put the effort. Once you succeed in monitoring and bringing the mind back, that dharana moves to dhyana. And once that dhyana improves and keep yourself consistently in the object of meditation, that becomes samadhi. So these 3. So when you start the dharana, you're trying to focus, but you don't have the skill. So once you have the skill, you are in that meditation stage. So to be very precise. So a lot of people complain that they cannot focus. That is not expected in the meditation. Meditation is you're bringing it back. So please, that's a correction we need to do. And then what we did was we saw the verses 27 and 28. The verse 27 is also a brilliant verse because it talks about the mind of an enlightened meditator. Because when you start the meditation, you are not an enlightened meditator. You are an ordinary meditator, and your meditation is called upasana. Correct? What you are meditating is not about the Atma. You are meditating about an object of meditation. He said it could be a flower. If that is the case, the vritti in your mind will be pushpa akara vritti. Remember that model we created, T1, T2, T3, T4. So that T1, 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 that is, you are trying to do that. In between T2 comes, you pull that back to T1. But what exactly is where exactly I'm trying to bring the mind back? T1, and that T1 could be a Pushpa, that could be a Shiva, that could be a ocean, that could be the sound of a bird, whatever it is. But later point of time, when you advance, what happens is the advanced state, meaning again, the word advanced is not the right word because of the lack of right word we will use. You can call it as an enlightened meditator or a evolved meditator, right? What exactly is the evolution here? Through the practice of Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, you have the Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Sthiti. Through the study of Vedanta, you have Shravanam and Mananam. And with the help of the Shravanam, Mananam, with the help of the Yoga Yukta, your ability to control your thought, you could create a T1. And what is that T1? It is the Atma Akara Vritti. So, and that Atma Akara Vritti, when you see that Atma Akara Vritti, what happens? I see this is my nature. And what exactly the Nididhyasanam does? The Nididhyasanam will stand, put that Atma Akara Vritti, connection with Atma, realization that I am Atma throughout my day. If you remember, I gave an example. When you learn bicycling, what happens? Initially, your entire attention would be on that bicycling. You may fall down, you may do everything initially. You won't learn that art of bicycling in a busy room. You go to a ground, or you go with the help of a person, or with the help of the training wheels, you do that. But once you learn that art, when you are in that nishta is there, what happens? It's always there in your main memory, if I borrow the computer language. So this awareness that I am Atma is going to be always there. Then only I can say that I am Atmanishta. Otherwise, the example I talked about some of the yogis. They say, when I am in samadhi, I experience a bliss. And that is a bliss, not the ananda. So, but when I get out of that samadhi, it's like 1,000 scorpions biting me at the same time. That's not Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta means this idea is established in me. And the idea of Gita is very well expressed in verse 27. So Krishna uses 3 words there. One is called Prashanta Manasam. Prashanta Manasam means a mind that is quiet. Praharshena Shantihi. Then what? Shanta Rajasam. It is free from all rajas. It is free from all agitation. And then he said, what type of mind it would be? Akalmasham. Kalmasham means impurity. Akalmasham means without any impurity. Look at that. Shanta Rajasam, Akalmasham. Shanta Rajasam means it is Vikshepa Nivritti. Akalmasham means Mala Nivritti. The Mala Nivritti and the Vikshepa Nivritti is going to give me a necessary condition. And with that mind, when I see the Atma through the Nididhyasanam, what exactly I am gaining? Prashanta Manasam. So Mala Nivritti, Vikshepa Nivritti, Avarana Nivritti is properly expressed in this verse. So I'm just pointing out, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna always follows this 3-point, always. And some people say that they don't see that. This is another verse clearly expressing these 3 aspects. Mala Nivritti, Vikshepa Nivritti, Avarana Nivritti. And then what is he saying that? When you do that, the nature of the mind, he said, Brahma Bhudam. Brahma Bhudam means becoming Brahman. Becoming Brahman means nobody has to become the Brahman. Brahman is always there. So when you say Brahma Bhudam means you experience that Brahman. Right? It's like in the dream, I am somehow just realized that this is a dream. The dream becomes a lucid dream. So my identity as a waker was that created. It was always there. I just became aware of that. So that is what is Brahma Bhudam. So in that dream, you can say that Vekar Bhudam or Jagrat Bhudam. You became the Jagrat. Figuratively, you can say that, but you're always the Jagrat. That is your real nature. So Brahma Bhudam means you're always Brahman, but you just discovered it. That's the beauty. These verses are so, each of these verses are jumps. It's the highest forms of Vedanta. So Brahma Bhudam. And then in verse 28, he tells what happens. This yogi, yoga yuktaha, the one who controls the mind, right? Yuktaha means yoga yukta atma. That is the word used. Atma here means mind. The one who controls the mind. What he say? Atyandam sukham ashnude. He experiences the greatest form of contentment, right? How? He getting in contact with Atma. Again, contact with Atma means you are not separate from Atma. You just realize that. So now, what happens is, when you experience that Atma, you experience something very unique with the help of the teachings of the Vedanta. You realizes that, just listen to this one sentence. This is the core of the Vedanta. You realizes that which is the essence of yourself, that which is the true self of yourself, is the consciousness. Point number one. You call it as Atma, right? And you also realizes that which is your essential nature is the essential nature of everything in the universe. So from 2 points of views, you may call it as 2 different names. From the point of that micro or individual perspective, I call that identity as Atma. When I look at the entire cosmos, which is the same as that of my Atma, I call it as Brahman. So essentially the Brahman and Atma are 2 different points of view of the one reality. Essentially, the Brahman and the Atma are one and the same. This is exactly what I realizes in the dream. Sorry, in that experiences, in that enlightenment, whatever you call it as. This is the essence of Advaita Vedanta, right? This is the essence of Advaita Vedanta. So the reality because of which I exist, it is the reality, it is the same reality because of which the entire cosmos exists. And the reality with which I exist, from that point of view, we call it as Atma. And the reality by which the entire cosmos exists, we call it as Brahman. Essentially, this Brahman and the Atman are the same. And that is what we call, the Vedas call Tat Tvam Asi. I am Atma Brahma. All these verses comes from this understanding. This is the biggest meditation, the benefits facilitated by meditation, not directly given by the meditation, but without the meditation, this will not happen. So this is the point, and that is what we are going to see today. So let's continue our discussion. Anu, can you chant verse 29?
Sure. Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha.
Another beautiful verse. Again, if you can by heart these verses, that is good. So let's see. Oh, sorry, I didn't move the slides. Sorry. So let's go to the slide. Okay. I know, if you don't mind, can you chant one more time?
Sure.
I forgot to change the slide.
Sarvabhutasthamaatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
Ikshate yoga yuktatma, the third line. Ikshate means, ikshate, sees or recognizes or understand. That is what it means. Who is that seer? Yoga yukta atma. If you split those words, yoga yukta atma means yoga plus yukta plus atma. So yoga yukta means with the help of yoga here means in this chapter, it means meditation. Yoga means it's a spiritual practice only, right? If means for stabilizing the mind or union, those two meanings we have seen multiple times. So here yoga yukta atma means the one who control the atma with the help of yoga. And what would be the meaning of atma here? Is that the body? Is that the mind? Or is that the Paramatma? The one who control the Atma with the help of yoga. That is what it is saying, right? Yoga yukta Atma. So here Atma means mind. You cannot control the Paramatma. There is no need to control Paramatma. So the one who, the yogi, with the practice of yoga, he who controls his mind, he sees what? Ikshate. He understands what? Let's go to the first line. Sarva bhutastam atmanam. He sees the Atma or the reality or the truth in every beings. He sees the Atma or the truth in every beings. Sarva bhutastam atmanam. He sees that whenever he sees a tree, he sees that tree as a manifestation of that absolute reality or the God or the Brahman. When he sees a mountain, that mountain is nothing but it is the manifestation of that reality. Shankaracharya in his commentary, he tells Brahmastamba. He said, from Brahmaji, Mr. Brahma, the highest, the God as the creator, right? Brahma means God as the creator. From that level to whom? To a pipilika and not even the living beings, a stamba, a post. So everything you can see in this universe is nothing but the manifestation of that one reality. And then he tells one more thing. Sarva bhutani cha atmani. That is more complicated. He sees in the Atma, or in the Brahman, he sees every being. In other words, every being exists in Brahman. Two examples will clarify this point. So there is a relative existence for everything, and there is an absolute existence for everything. The classic example given in the Vedanta is what? The mud pot and the mud. Right? The gold and the ornaments. The water and the wave. These are the three most common used example in Vedanta. So can I say that in every mud pot, think of this, in every mud pot, I can see mud. Is it wrong? If I can see mud in every mud pot, what does that mean? I understood the truth of what is mud and what is pot. Can I say that I can see the gold in all the ornaments? A bangle or a chain or a ring or a biscuit, whatever it is, a coin. The names might be different, the size might be different, but I can see gold in all the ornaments. A big tsunami, a small wave, different types of waves are there. But in every wave, in every different types of expressions of that wave, I can see water. When I see water, in all waves, I understood the reality or the truth about the wave and the water. That's what it means. On the other hand, an efficient sculpturer or a pot maker, when he sees the pot, he can see that every pot, every mud pot in the universe, the existence of that mud pot is nothing but the mud. So I can see the pots in the mud. I can also see the mud in the pot when I know the truth. So like that, I can see the Brahman or the reality in every expression of life, every expression of the universe, living and non-living being. And I can also see all the objects in the universe in that Brahman. So don't worry, there is 2 chapters dedicated for this. One is called Vibhuti Yoga and the other one is Vishwarupa Darshana. So in the Vishwarupa Darshana, you see the many in one. The entire cosmos you could see in the Lord. And in the Vibhuti Yoga, you see the glory of the manifestation of the Lord in everything in the universe. One more example. This example will clarify this a little bit more clear. Say that you are in the dream. Swapna Drishtanta, Shankaracharya's famous Swapna Drishtanta. So in the dream, remember the same example we have been following. I dream that I am in Rishikesh. I see the Ganga, I see the beautiful mountains, I see the temples, everything. Suddenly I realizes that it's a dream, lucid dream. Still I'm in the dream. So when I realizes that it is the dream, what exactly is that mountain? It is my mind, my mind. What is Ganges? Ganga, it is my mind. What is me? That is also my mind stuff. Vivekananda coined that term, mind stuff. So that is also me. So I can see whatever I can see outside, it is me. And I can also see that the whole Rishikesh is in me, the whole Uttarkashi is in me, the Ganga is in me. So I can see everything in me. So an advanced meditator, a skilled meditator or a evolved meditator or an enlightened meditator can see the Brahman or the truth in all beings, and also he can see all the beings in that one Brahman. So that is what Ikshate, he can understand, he can see, he recognizes that fact. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshinaha. You can see that samatvam, that oneness in everything. You and I are connected. I'm connected with everything else because the essential reality of everything else, everything is the same. This is the most advanced spiritual teachings. There is nothing more than this, the vision of oneness. See, when you say, love thy neighbor as yourself, when I understand that my neighbor is connected with me, the essence of my neighbor, not just the neighbor, but the entire cosmos is me. I am only part of that. I am connected with that. That is the greatest understanding. And this is the vision of Advaita Vedanta, and this is the vision of oneness. So this verse brilliantly explains this. So let's go to the next verse now. So verse 30.
Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mahi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati.
So it's just a continuation of that previous verse. He tells, Yo mam. Yo means Yaha. Yaha means universal pronoun. He, whoever he be. right? It doesn't matter he is a Hindu or Indian or a Vedantin, it doesn't matter. Whoever he be, he who pashyati means sees or understands. Mam means me. Sarvatra. So he who sees me everywhere. Everywhere he sees me, right? That vision of oneness. Then he tells, Sarvam cha mai. So this is the second one line, right? He say, Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati. Sarvam, everything he sees in me. He sees me in everything, right? He sees me in everything, and he everything in me. Remember, I see, what is that? The clay in all the pots. I see all the pots in the clay universe in clay. So a person who can see that, right? Tasyaham na pranashyami. To that person, right? He never loses my vision. He always sees me. Ishvara is in front of him always. I am never ever away from him. Why? Because whatever he sees is Ishvara. Whatever he hears is Ishvara. Whatever touches him is Ishvara. He is never away from Ishvara. Pranashyati means destroy. So here destroy means he is not absent, or he is never invisible for me. I am never invisible for him, and he is never invisible for me. Meaning what? He is always connected with that truth, and you can see, because I am never means through him, the worldly people can even see Ishvara's expression. A self-realized master, when he talks, when he walks, you can see that great expression of Ishvara. So again, brilliant verse. He who sees how me everywhere, and he who sees everything in me, such a person is never away from me, and that I am never away from him. So this is another beautiful verse. So for that enlightened person, enlightened meditator, Brahman is never absent, and the meditator is never absent or away from the Brahman. So such a meditator, you can see the expression of Brahman through him. That's another brilliant verse. So let's continue our discussion. So the next verse is verse 31.
Sarvabhutasthitham yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mayi vartate.
Another brilliant verse, right? Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam bhajati ekatvam astitaha. Bhajati ekatvam astitaha. It's one word here. Bhajati ekastam astitaha. That is splitted into bhajati plus ekatvam plus astitaha. Sarvatha vaktamanopi sayogi mai vartate. It's a beautiful, beautiful verse. Krishna say, sayogi, that yogi. Mai means in me. Vartate. He always abide in me. That person, that yogi. Who is that? That thing is described in the previous verse. Sarva bhutasthitham yo mam. Yo means yaha, means the universal pronoun. Mam means me, the Ishvara, the absolute reality. Sarva, he who bhajati means worships. So he who worships me, in what form? Sarva Bhuta Sthitam. This is very interesting. So Krishna tells, he who worships the Ishvara, who resides in all beings. He tells what? That person, Sayogi Mai Vartati. Right? That person always abides in me. Sarvatha Vartamanepi. Even though he engages in worldly activities. Even though he walk and talk and do his work, still he always abide in me. So that yogi who worship me as the person indwelling in all beings. This poses a discussion. A lot of people in the modern world are devotees. For them, where exactly the God sits? In temple, in churches, in mosque. So, a lot of people go to the temple. They feel the divinity in front of the Krishna's murti in the temple. But look at what Krishna tells here. He who worships me, where? Sarva Bhuta Sthitam. He who worships me as the indweller in all beings. So Krishna tells, he who recognizes the divinity in every being. So what means? A person who goes to the temple, blindly worships there, and being arrogant, being mean, cheating the fellow human beings, they are not my devotees. In fact, if you know the Tantra Shastra, right? When you put the idol or a vigraha in a temple, when you put the temple in the vigraha, initially it is not worshipable. You have to do a function, what is called prana pratishtha. You pray and you invoke the presence of the God. But all these living beings, the prana pratishtha automatically happens. So never, Shankara's commentary, he calls this out. Never ever ignore the fellow human beings. You have to see that divinity. This is the highest vision. And when somebody extend his vision of Ishvara outside of the temple, church and mosque and recognize the presence of Ishvara in every beings of the universe, then he tells, right, that person always abide in me. In the chapter 12, he tells, Sachame bhaktaha mai priyaha. That person is more dear to me. So so-called devotees, it's better to go to temple, but along with the temple, don't think that Ishvara sits there only, right? Ishvara is there everywhere. This is what happened to Ramakrishna Vivekananda when he went to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Have you seen God? He had been asking that question to so many people. Everybody said, no, God cannot be seen. When he came to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the answer was, yes, I see God. I'm seeing God. I've been seeing God, just like I see you. What does that he mean? What does he mean? Whatever he sees that divinity. So such a person, the previous verse explains that very well. Such a person, God is never away from him, and he is not away from the God. This is the highest teachings of the Advaita Vedanta. Now, one question people may ask. Krishna said, Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Yo Mam. Me. Some people take that me as Mr. Krishna. That is not what he meant. Krishna is not identifying here if I borrow Swami Chinmayananda's words, he tells Krishna is not identifying here as the blue boy of Vrindavan. He is identifying himself as the Brahman, the reality, Atma. Why? What does the Vedas tell? I am Atma, Brahma. So with that, Krishna is an enlightened master. So he is talking as the Atma or the reality. Some people who are very much dualist and fond of Krishna, and they think that Krishna is the only God, everybody else is wrong. Such people interpret this verse as Krishna. So he's he who sees Krishna, that's okay, but that's not what is meant if you connect with the previous verses. But that is not what Gita meant. So this is where when people study Gita with a commentary, you get completely confused. If it is not properly unfolded, these verses can confuse people. And that is why this traditional teaching is very important. So Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Yomam, this is very, very fantastic verse. Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Yomam, Bhajatyekatvam Astitaha, that oneness, one who means Ishvara, that is present in all the being. Bhajati ekatvam astitaha. Sarvatha vartamanopi. Even though he engages in every activity in the worldly life, that yogi, sa yogi, mai vartate. So Shankara tells it is pure hypocrisy if you don't realize that God in the living beings. If you just see the God in the temple only, that type of worship, he calls a very harsh word, hypocrisy. Beautiful. So the second verse, bhajati ekatvam astidaha, that becomes bhajati ekatvam astidaha. So those who are interested in Sanskrit, this is the beauty and complication of Sanskrit. When multiple words put together, what happens? It combines, you can combine multiple words into one word using the rules of Sandhi. Sandhi means joining. So, bhajati ekatvam astitaha become bhajati ekatvam astitaha. Whenever such a situation comes, it is easy to get the meaning if you read from right to left. Astitaha ekatvam bhajati. This is the process. Okay, so one more verse.
Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham vayadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha.
Atma upamyena sarvatra. Atmaupanyena sarvatra. Atma upamena sarvatra. Atma plus upamyena sarvatra. Samam pashyati yo arjunaha. Sukham va yati va dukkham. Sa yogi paramo mataha. So Krishna tells, if you look at the last line, he tells sa yogi, that meditator or that spiritual practitioner is paramaha, supreme, is the highest spiritual practitioner. Paramo mataha, that is my opinion. According to Lord Krishna's opinion, that yogi is the supreme yogi. Who? Atmaupanyena sarvatra. He sees, upama means what? A simile. He sees the Atma everywhere. He sees the Atma in the entire universe. When he sees the sun, the moon, and the stars, the plant, animal, and human, everything, he sees nothing but Atma. Whatever he sees as himself, he sees everywhere. That is the first thing, right? And then he tells the second thing. Samam pashyati yorjunaha. Yaha plus Arjunaha. So he who means whoever be who. That is yo, universal pronoun. Samam pashyati. He sees the same in everywhere. What does that mean? He won't put a bangle as a ring. He won't use a chain as a bangle. No. He will use chain as a chain, bangle as a bangle, but he sees gold in everywhere. That's all. So he sees that existence, that oneness everywhere. So from a transactional level, Vyavaharika level, he used pot for cooking and he used a teacup for drinking tea. But he knows that both that pot and teacup are nothing but clay. So he sees that oneness. Samam pashyati yorjunaha. He whoever sees that samatvam in everywhere. Sukham va yadi va dukham. In happiness and sorrow, in whatever condition, typically what happens, these emotional disturbances can blind our vision. But this yogi, even when he is going through sukham and dukham, this vision will not change. Because that vision is born out of understanding. Whatever that is born out of understanding, it will not change. Whatever that is born out of faith, it may change when sukha and dukkha comes in. Good example. Some people, when they go through some difficult times of their life, I see they curse the Lord. Right? You might have seen that. Some people say that I don't believe in God. And even you see the poetry is, oh Lord, you don't have eyes? Are you deaf? Like that poets write it. Why? Because their understanding of the God they know is not through understanding. The God they know is only through faith. The faith can be shaken. But even the worst possible time of their life, they will not have any doubt. 1 + 1 = 2. Why? Their belief in God gets shaken when they were going through that difficult time. But their understanding of the fact that 1 + 1 = 2 will not change. The reason is, one is a belief, the other one is an understanding. A yogi who has seen this, his vision of oneness is not because a prophet came and asked him to believe that there is a vision of oneness. It is his own understanding. It is his own vision. That cannot be shaken. So sukham va yati va dukham. Sa yogi, that enlightened meditator is the supreme meditator, according to me. This is what Krishna tells. So we saw 4 verses, and the theme of all those 4 verses was the same. What is that? It is the vision of oneness. An advanced meditator. That's why I was trying to connect it with the previous verse. Krishna gave those 3 characteristics of that advanced meditator, right? Akalmashaha. Akalmashaha means his mind will be free from all the impurities, all the tamas. Shanta rajasam, meaning the mind will be free from all the turbulences. Prashantam, he has seen the truth, and that shanti, the inner shanti, has gained. So mala nivritti, vikshepa nivritti, aparana nivritti has came in, and he has seen Brahma Bhutam, right? So he has seen or discovered the truth. And when he has discovered the truth, what is he seeing is the entire cosmos is nothing but that Atma. And that entire cosmos the reality that pervades the entire cosmos, I call it as Brahman. And the reality by which I exist, I call it as Atma. And essentially, this Atma and the Brahman are one and the same. There is absolutely no difference. And this truth, when I recognize, I see the entire universe as the manifestation of Brahman, and I see the entire universe is in Brahman, right? All beings in me, meaning when Krishna says me, in the truth or the Brahman, all beings in me, and I see me in all beings. This, if you remember, and that vision of oneness. And a person who recognizes me in every beings, seeing that divinity in all beings, that is what the highest form of yogi. And that yogi is very dear to me. This is the theme of this chapter. Let's do the closing prayer and can have any Q&As. Bhunaji or Anu, whoever wants, whoever is there. I see Bhunaji, I see you. Please do, if you can do the closing prayer.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shantis Shantis Shantihi. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.